I'm going to do something that's been done a time or two already, but I had fun with it. So here's my modifications to the Blacktron Renegade. I'm not going to go full Angus on this one. I'm not as funny as that guy, and I don't have any Huskies. If you don't know who I'm talking about, I'll put Angus McLean's in the description. If you like fun, you'll enjoy his mini upgrades to this set. And if you don't like fun, then I'm sorry for whatever happened to you. I haven't actually changed the Renegade much. I added some extra shiny red bits, and I made the communication satellite a little bit more toothy, if you know what I mean. It's kind of funny, like I'm a peacenik in real life, but when it comes to my toys, I'm always like, more Deka Deka. Give me more! The only thing I really wanted to do before ripping apart the Renegade for parts is to find out if its modularity was compatible with the Blacktron Cruiser set that came out about a year or so before. So I rebuilt mine, and it isn't. It's not compatible, not right out of the box. The connection points aren't as universal on the Cruiser as they are on the Renegade. So I modified it. Really, if you're not modifying sets you buy to suit how you want them to be, or even just to see what if, then you're missing out on most of the fun LEGO offers. I rebuilt my Cruiser with some alterations, mostly just aesthetic. Some because the right parts that I needed to rebuild it to the instructions are tied up in mocks that are waiting to be dismantled and sorted. That's a sucky chore, and this whole Renegade project is just an avoidance tactic to keep from having to do it. So, as for the alterations I made for aesthetics, I kept it slim up front to match the profile of the windscreen, but I bulked out sections towards the rear to match the profile of the Renegade components. I added these red panels because I have them and they look dope, but none of that is necessary. Modifying the Cruiser to mate with the Renegade is pretty simple. Let's get the Renegade back in here. Alright, so the Renegade has these universal connection points with the clips on the right, bars on the left. The Cruiser has a hodgepodge of clips and bars. Here, let me find a good picture from the thing. So, like on some components, it's just clips. Some components, it's just bars. So, it doesn't work as universally as the Renegade. So, if you want to make the change to make your Cruiser fit your Renegade, you just got to change the... replace the clips and bars that are on the Cruiser with the same kind of setup that you find on the Renegade. You can do these bars, you can do that with lots of pieces, not just the ones on the Renegade. They use these, but you can use these, you can use these, there we go. Lots of ways you can do it. All you gotta do is you're modifying this thing is just work on getting, bars on the left, clips on the right. And they are one brick apart, 2 sets of them. The other consideration is that the Renegades and Cruiser modules are the exact same height. But all the connection points on the Cruiser components are in the original unaltered. They're 1 brick lower. So if you don't change that, your Cruiser and Renegade bits will fit together 1 layer off. So, as you're modifying your Cruiser, just make sure you shift all these clips and bars up just by 1 plate. With those 2 changes done, components from your Cruiser and your Renegade are now universally adaptable. So you can, do something dumb like this if you want. A little more sensible, you can stick this guy. Maybe one of these together just to make a different ship. With those two changes done to your original cruiser set, you've now got everything's universally adaptable, can fit all together. The only trouble that I ran into then is that I've got more end units, like all the engines and the cockpits and the Nada gun and all that. Then I have central connection points. So any component that I try, or any configuration I try to put together, we always end up with extra components that don't fit onto the main body of the Renegade. So I built myself a, that's, you know what, for the grand reveal, let's just get some background. Ugh. I built myself a guppy. I mean, it's a scout ship. Yeah, that's what it is. But it does look kind of like a chubby fish. It's got a cute cockpit, though. I like how the cockpit turned out. A slim profile there. So, it's a little standalone ship, but it's also a detachable connection point in its own right. So, let's get the Renegade back here. So, got the Renegade core, got our scout ship. It can just clip onto the starboard or the port. Clip in like that, lay it down. Now it's fitting nice and secure. And you've got more connection points on the ship. So I kind of like to do... hey, cool, first part that fell apart. Well, you know. This guy back where he went. So, I have to go a little more wide. With the addition of this, I like having it set off center like that because it kind of extends the asymmetricality of the Renegade, which I think is one of the coolest features, is that it's not an everything is uniform kind of ship. And there you have it. You've got the Blacktron Cruiser and the Renegade components all stuck together as one, and you can pop these around, shift them in all kinds of fun configurations. Alright, thanks for watching. Happy building.